Hello, wonderful viewers. In this video, the man of God expounds the importance of securing our moments with God. The Bible says that a day in the eyes of the Lord is like 1,000 years. Kindly like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. God bless you.
Oh my God, you're not with me. Do you still remember Apostle Paul in the book of Acts chapter 26? He secured the moment. He had an encounter with Jesus on the way to Damascus, and he testified about his encounter with Jesus. He said, I was not disobedient to the heavenly vision. It means that moment of encounter was still alive, and it regulated his activity until the day he died. That moment had a shelf life to live on because it was a whisper that came from the Alpha Omega. I came to tell you something. Many of you have had moments like that where the Alpha Omega showed up, but that moment is no longer alive with you. It died. It didn't fulfill its shelf life. It was drained out because circumstances and tribulations that showed up, and you believed the tribulation much more than you believed the moment. So you lost the moment. And that embryo that God was hoping that you will keep, you would tend, it died in your vessel. I will never forget, age of 13, I was taken to heaven. I was there for 8 hours. I saw strange things that God has not yet given me liberty to share. Probably, oh my God, the angels that fought to ensure that I didn't die at 14, I saw them. There were 4 of them. And there's one of them with a slim face that normally comes with a scroll to read out the future. Never forget that. Are you still with me? A stammerer, I couldn't speak. So when the angel with the slim face was reading the scroll, I interrupted him. Stop there. Why do you call me a preacher? Wasn't God aware that I was going to preach before he decided to make me like this? And then the angel stopped reading the scroll. If that was the greatest mistake I made in my life, I would have allowed him finish reading before I bring my quiz. He rolled the scroll and he shouted, "Ha!" You know what the shout was? That's what you call thunder. He blasted. It was the energy that came from that thunder that transported me from where I was in heaven into my body on earth. I have seen strange things. But that moment still lives still today. For every encounter you have with the Alpha Omega, the shelf life can stretch for 1,000 years. Your sons and your sons' sons can inherit that moment. And it shapes their lives. It shapes their pilgrimage. Will this moment, will it die? That's my question to you. Will this moment die? The angel read that I was supposed to be a preacher of the gospel to turn the hearts of many that were already en route, the flames of hell. Years later, when I got to 21, he came back. The angel came back. It was around that time from 21 to 24, based on the encounters that I had, that my tongue was loosed. Yeah. Those moments are still alive. Then I realized that if I wanted the tongue to be loose so that I can preach the gospel, because you don't think I'm a stammerer, but the symptoms are still there. But I had to pray for long to get this voice. I found the key. That if I stay with God and stay in his presence for a long time, the yoke will be lifted from my shoulders and the burden will be taken from my neck. And I will be able to speak. I don't speak with natural power. That moment lives. I remember I was in somewhere in northern Nigeria, and a sister sang just like you sang today. May God bless you forever. Amen. And when I closed my eyes and I tried to open the eyes, I couldn't see the roof anymore. I was not where I was. And a big angel from heaven just descended. And when I looked upon him, it was as if I went blind. But in my blindness, I was transported. And Jesus appeared to me and said to me with bass voice, take my presence and my power to the peoples of the world. And it echoed in my spirit. Take my presence and my power to the peoples of the world. That's what Jesus said. When I recovered myself in the meeting, I was on the floor. And I don't know how I got there. But that moment lives. Because even tonight you will see the power of his presence. Can you tend the little strand of grace that God will put upon your heart? Can you fan the fires of that grace to flame and bear the burden to keep it burning as you transit from the pressure, irrespective of the persecution? Can you keep it alive? Satan will fight to see that that moment dies. Oh my. He will fight. He will fight for you to give up that moment. He will fight for you to give up that encounter. He will create aberrations. And the moment you believe in the lie, you lose the mercy that he places upon your life. For the Bible says that they that observe lying vanities, they forsake their mercy. For many years when I was in the university, my mom didn't believe I was in school. Because her friend came and told her that she saw me preaching in a strange place. And your son is not going to school. So my mom didn't believe I was going to school. So when I came to ask for school fees, she gave me the school fees, but she didn't believe I was going to school. When I finished, I brought the certificate and showed her, I'm a graduate. She didn't believe. She thought I forged it. It was when I finished my youth service, because in Nigeria, so I brought the certificate to her. And she now asked me, so you went to school? And one day, so I saw how they were not interested in me being a preacher, so I became an undercover preacher. So when I see people sick at home, such sickness that I have authority to cast out, I say, have you tried this drug? Because I had to be undercover. And it came to pass one of those days, she was invited to a meeting. I didn't know she was there. I was preaching and the presence. 2 days after that meeting, she did not speak. She was wondering. And when she spoke, eventually she asked me, my son, what happened to you? She never heard me speak like that. Everybody except her fell off. Began to speak in tongues. That was when she discovered that speaking in tongues was real. Because nobody touched anybody. They just started speaking. And because of her unbelief, she couldn't receive. But he knew after that service that it was real. What happened to you? It was a moment with the Alpha Omega. A moment that I labored to keep alive. A moment. Have you lost your moment? When he showed up with his glory. Deficiencies, your insufficiencies, and he showed up and he looked upon you with the flaming eyes. Oh, it was his intention for that moment to last for eternity. You must call that moment back this evening. You must call it back this evening. The economic situation in the United Kingdom cannot be the reason for which you lost that moment. That is the hope. That moment carried the hope of God extending the frontiers of his influence through your life and affecting someone else, affecting your husband, affecting people around you. That moment is an investment from the Alpha Omega.